Chet Miller, killed when his car crashed during Indianapolis practice and caught fire. Charles de Tornaco died from head injuries after crashing during practice at Modena. Onofre Marimon, car went off the circuit during practice at Nürburgring and fell down an embankment. Mario Alberghetti lost control, hit straw bales and a wall during the Pau Grand Prix race. Manny Aiello crashed at high speed during Indianapolis practice, suffered fatal injuries. Bill Vukovic, car flipped after contact during the Indianapolis 500 race and burst into flames. Eugenio Castellotti killed instantly when his Ferrari crashed during testing at Modena. Keith Andrews fatally injured in a crash during Indianapolis practice. Pat O'Connor, car flipped and burned after a multi-car collision at the Indianapolis 500. Luigi Musso lost control at Reims, hit an embankment, and died from internal injuries. Peter Collins crashed at high speed at Nürburgring, thrown from the car and fatally injured. Stuart Lewis Evans' car caught fire after crashing, died days later from severe burns. Jerry Unser Jr. suffered fatal head injuries after crashing during practice at Indianapolis. Bob Courtner crashed heavily during Indianapolis practice, later died from injuries. Harry Schell lost control in wet conditions during practice and suffered fatal injuries. Chris Bristow crashed and was decapitated by track fencing at Spa. Alan Stacey, struck by a bird, lost control and crashed fatally at Spa. Shane Summers crashed during practice at Brands Hatch and died from injuries. Giulio Cabianca lost control during testing. Car left the circuit and struck spectators. Wolfgang von Tripp's collision with another car sent him into the crowd. Both he and spectators died. Ricardo Rodriguez lost control during practice. Car hit barriers and disintegrated. Gary Hocking crashed during motorcycle practice and died instantly. Karel Godin de Beaufort succumbed to injuries after a Nürburgring practice crash. John Taylor crashed during the German Grand Prix, died weeks later from burns. Lorenzo Bandini, trapped in burning car after Monaco crash, died from burns. Bob Anderson, killed in a high-speed testing crash at Silverstone. Joe Schlesser, Honda caught fire after crashing, died instantly in flames. Gerhard Mitter lost control during practice at Nürburgring and was killed instantly. Martin Brain, fatally injured after crashing during a club race at Silverstone. Piers Courage, car crashed, overturned, and burned at Zandvoort. Jochen Rindt suffered fatal throat injuries when his car hit a barrier during qualifying. Joe Siffert died from smoke inhalation after his car overturned and burned. Roger Williamson, car overturned and burned, died from asphyxiation. Francois Savert, car struck barriers at extreme speed, killed instantly. Peter Revson crashed during testing, died from massive injuries. Helmut Koenig decapitated when his car went under a guardrail. Mark Donohue suffered head injuries during practice, died days later. Tom Price collided with a track marshal and then crashed. Both were killed. Brian Maguire crashed during practice, suffered fatal injuries. Ronnie Peterson died from complications after leg fractures and embolism following a crash. Patrick Depailler, car left the track during testing and plunged into trees. Gilles Villeneuve launched into the air after collision, fatal neck injuries. Riccardo Paletti crashed into a stationary car at race start, died from chest injuries. Elio De Angelis, trapped upside down during testing, died from smoke inhalation. Ayrton Senna, suspension failure caused head impact with concrete wall. John Dawson Damer lost control during hill climb run, died from injuries. Fritz Glatz succumbed to injuries after a severe crash in a Super Cup race. Dennis Welch, fatal crash during a historic racing demonstration. Jules Bianchi, head injuries after striking recovery vehicle, died months later. David Ferrer died after crashing during a historic racing event.